Hi everyone, today we are going to paint some super simple watercolour vegetables using the wet on wet technique. So grab your paints and let's get started. Today is all about painting in a really simple and loose style, and that requires using some larger brushes so that we don't do too many brush strokes. We want to really be confident with pressing down the brushes and making marks and shapes with these large bristles so that we don't end up doing loads and loads of brush strokes. So I am just mixing up the Cadmium Orange right here with a size 6 brush, and you can see the full length of the bristles is coated in there and it's really nice and vibrant. And I'm going to start by painting a carrot, and what I'm going to do is begin with the brush almost entirely on the page, and I'm going to go down the page and you can see a carrot shape, and then just a little bit more control off the bottom, just a little wiggle down there, and that is the most lovely sort of pure loose watercolour carrot shape that you can get. Now I'm just going to let it dry a little bit before I pop in the green tufts on top. So let's just move on to painting a little radish. So I'm going to begin by mixing up a very, very dilute sort of blush colour, which is a mixture of yellow ochre and permanent rose. This is just to give me a base really, and I'm going to do some little round radishes. So I'm going to just begin by painting a round shape and just fill it in a little bit. And in fact, I'm going to change my water out for some clear water because I don't want it to go too overtly orange. And we'll get another little peachy shape here. So all of this, all the while, things are just slowly drying on the page. And now I'm going to get my size 2 brush for a little bit more control, and got some stronger permanent rose here, and this time I am going to just edge this wet shape, and then I am going to paint down and do a nice wiggle. So let's try that again. Just the edge. And by painting around that edge, we're getting a nice crisp, clean edge there because it's onto the dry paper, and then the inside is just blending into wetness, and a little wiggle for the little root there. These are so fun and they take such a small amount of time, but I think the key thing is a bit of confidence with the brush. Okay, so let's have some green, some sap green down here to paint in our green carrot tufts. Now I know a lot of carrots, you see them sort of with long green bits coming off the top, but I just want a few little green stalks. And the beauty of cold pressed watercolour paper is it's just slightly rough and textured, and it allows a little bit of dry brushing. And allowing that tiny bit of green to go in there means we just get the tiniest bit of a bleed, but not too much. Now if I'd left that any shorter, if we'd painted the green in straight after the orange, we would have got potentially too much of a bleed there, more than we wanted. Now for the radish tops, I'm going to paint in a slightly sort of softer shape, so a little bit more water on the brush. And for this one I don't mind it because the colour inside is really gentle and soft, so it doesn't matter about getting a bleed. And I'm just doing nice sort of soft tapered lines and smooth curves. Let's do that again. So belly of the brush, tapering off, just touching, and then I think that's really nice. Okay, let's move on to something a little bit different. I'm going to show you how to paint a red onion. So I've got Alizarin Crimson just here. Really beautiful deep colour, which is kind of perfect for a red onion. But if we wanted to take it just a little bit further into that deep dark colour, we can add just a little bit of Prussian blue. And then suddenly you get a really deep purpley colour, but a kind of earthy deep reddy purple. Now, an onion, this technique could be used for any type of onion, whether it's a white, brown one or any kind. But what I'm going to do, again, I'm using loose watercolour, simple techniques, and I am going to use a size 6 brush, and I'm going to begin at the top and just squish the brush down, creating a sort of S curve, and then I'm going to try and make the most of that unpainted space, building up the shape of a round onion. So tip of the brush, then squish it down into the belly of the brush. And I love just managing to get those tiny unpainted slivers of line that make it look like a lovely textured ridged red onion. I think we can do one more. And there we go, lovely and simple. I'm now going to show you how to paint a tomato. So we've got Cadmium Red, the perfect red for this. And with the tomato, I'm going to allow for a little bit of unpainted space to give us some nice shine on the shape. So again, size 6 brush is perfect for this because it allows us to really get wonderful broad coverage. And I'm just doing a lovely C curve there to create the outer edge of the shape. And then let's do the other side. And then just with a bit of water, just filling it in. And it's almost hard to sort of teach how to kind of randomly colour in your piece, but all I would say is just try to minimise your brush strokes. We want these little shines of unpainted space to give this tomato real character. And then a little bit of Sap Green, and this time I'm going to allow the green to just bleed in to the tomato. So here's the stalk. So again, pressing the brush down and just lifting up the pressure to get a slightly finer tip towards the bottom, and then some tapered lines for your tomato leaves at the top. These are looking lovely. I'm going to fill up another page with a few more vegetables. So I'll just move that to one side. Got another piece here, and this time I'm going to show you how to paint an aubergine, or an eggplant as you say in America. So we need a really nice deep dark colour, and I love to create the aubergine colour by mixing cadmium red and a deep blue, so French ultramarine blue I've gone for here, and it's amazing. The colour it makes is so perfect for an aubergine. And you can just play around with how much red, how much blue you want, just to get it exactly right. That looks pretty good to me, so let's go. So using the nice wet paint again, squishing the brush down, getting one side of the shape. Now we must remember that I am left-handed, so whenever I start a shape I'm always coming from the left-hand side, and you might want to paint this from the other way around, but that's absolutely fine. So I've done 2 shapes, and now I'm just gonna use a bit of water. I want to fill it in, but I don't want to neaten it up too much, make it too perfect. That's pretty great. I like that a lot. And then we'll have a stalk of green. Actually, I'm really excited. Ant's growing some aubergines in our greenhouse at the moment, so we've never actually grown any of our own before. So it'll be very exciting. So there we go, and that one I really like how it blends down in. So it's very much down to you really whether you prefer to go for this kind of thing where we leave it a little longer, or if you blend it in. For me, the decision here is the fact that the carrot is bright, vibrant orange. I didn't want the green encroaching on that too much, whereas with the aubergine or the eggplant, it's dark already. I think that works absolutely fine. And then I guess you've got your tomato there, which is somewhere in between with just a minimal bit of blend. Now we're going to have a go at a nice sort of simplish one, a bit of broccoli, but we're going to go for a sort of tender stem broccoli, so a nice slender thin bit of broccoli. So I'm just mixing a little bit of lemon yellow into my sap green. This is a sort of permanently mixed lemon yellow and sap green mix that I have. So I'm going to, I've got my size 4 brush here, start with a stem that's going to sort of wiggle a bit and get a bit slimmer. And then from there, some branches coming off, creating a very sort of stretched tree, I suppose. And then at the top we can just dab the brush in a cluster over the top. And there we have some broccoli. Now the last one I'm going to show you is a bulb of garlic, and this has a fairly similar technique to the red onion, but it's a little bit different. We're going to use this lovely yellow ochre with a touch of permanent rose mixed in. And what I'm going to do with my size 2 brush, so I'm going to start with a long sort of stalk and then start creating the outer edge of the bulb of garlic. And it's going to be a little bit more random than the red onion, not going to be quite so methodical with it, but I'm doing the same premise of doing curves that are going to come down in, creating the bulb of garlic. This is the beauty of the pointed round brushes, is they've got enough thickness, and even the slightly slimmer brushes, to get a nice sort of broad line. And then I'm just going to pop in a very, very tiny amount of permanent rose just along the base there, because you sometimes get a little bit of that in your bulb of garlic. So there we go, some really, really simple vegetable paintings in loose watercolour. I really hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you're encouraged to have a go. Thanks so much for watching. I want to say a massive thank you to my patrons for their support, because that support enables us to keep creating these videos that everyone can enjoy. And if you enjoyed it, then hit the like button below and comment to let me know how you're getting on. And of course, if you subscribe, then you'll never miss another video. Until next time, bye!